This is the 7th part of the Crete Fashion Guide. In it I will tell you about the mechanical skating rink, wired wheels, about the elevator and about many other little things that appeared in the update of the 0.5.1 Crete. And we are starting. The first thing that catches your eye is the redesigned icons and textures of blocks and mechanisms from the Crete mod. Mechanisms that looked the same now have their own individual texture. The interface of interaction with mechanisms has changed. Just hover over the corresponding indicator, hold down the right mouse button and wait, and the mechanism settings menu will open. Either a scale, the value of which can be changed by dragging the slider, or the rotation of the mouse wheel. And with the shift button pressed, you will change the value faster. Previously, a wrench was used to adjust the mechanism. Now it is needed in order to rotate the mechanisms and dismantle them and change the direction of the arrow on the mechanical pump, because now changing the direction of rotation does not affect it. In addition, only with the help of a wrench you can change the bonding distance on the blocks of the linear chassis and radial, and also the secondary linear chassis. And yes, now it's not the chassis, but the frames. There is also a new item, a tablet. By clicking the right mouse button, you will open it and you can write goals and tasks for yourself. And completed tasks are deleted using this button. With a clamped shift and a right mouse click, you place it in the world, on any block. The tablet is also able to copy the settings of various mechanisms and slots for filters, even those with a subject or attribute filter inside, but for this it must be in your inventory. Well, you can copy a phrase from a tablet to a mechanical scoreboard, or a gas discharge indicator. And the tablet can be placed in a schematic cannon to write a list of ingredients for schematics. And if you have already filled out the inventory for the schematic gun, then you can re-overwrite the data on the tablet and it will indicate which items are available and which are missing. Wired wheels. Now there are two of them, an ordinary water wheel and a large water wheel. The rotation speed and load for any wheels is now constant and does not depend on how you pour water. And here are their parameters. The small wheel is faster, rotates at a speed of 8 revolutions per minute and produces a maximum of 256 units of load, and the large one rotates at a speed of 4 revolutions per minute and produces 512 units of load. All types of wheels can also be increased to increase the final load. And of course they can be placed vertically and pour lava instead of water. And by clicking the boards on the water wheels, you can change their textures. Well, you can help me by writing in the comments whether water wheels are compatible with boards from other mods. Next, we have a gizmo controller. It is needed in order to disable individual parts of moving mechanisms. For example, we have a rotating thing with a mechanical drill, a saw, and a combined harvester. Let's stop it and paste the gizmo controller into it. Click on it, just not on the central part, and it will light up red. Now we start the whole mechanism and you will notice that nothing is being extracted, and pressing it again will turn everything on. And you can press even while the mechanism is moving. To disable a particular mechanism of the thing, disassemble it and install the necessary mechanism in the filter slot. Click to make the controller light up and restart the thing. Now the drill will not break. An interesting fact is that you can disable individual mechanisms on trolley gizmos and trains. And you can put an unlimited number of controllers. Unfortunately, they are not controlled by the arrested person in a mobile state, but only disassembled. There was a very cool function, namely to open chests on movable mechanisms, such as mechanical pistons, gantry crane shafts, on all mechanisms that rotate, and of course trolley gizmos and trains, which a lot of people wanted. But alas, this cannot be done with a sender chest and other mechanisms. And then we will talk with you about the creation of elevators, specifically about the elevator winch. The first thing to do is to build an elevator cabin. One rheonic contact must be present in the cabin design. And doors to enter. Now glue it all together. Next, we put the second rest-in contact opposite the first one, but it should not be glued to the main structure of the elevator. Congratulations, this is the first floor. And let's make a second one so that there is a place to come. To do this, we put the same one over the non-glued rest and contact. Well, in the same way, respectively. And now it is necessary to install an elevator winch over the glued elevator. I put it a little higher than the last floor, taking into account the size of the elevator that arrived in the future. Now give the winch a rotation and right-click on it. It will connect to the elevator. Also, at the same time, the rest and contacts will change, becoming elevator contacts. After opening them, you will see the following interface. Here you can set the floor number, and here you can keep a brief description. And here, by rotating the wheel, you can set which specific door you will have to open upon arrival on the floor. And by giving Redstone a signal to the elevator contact, the elevator will go to him. But this is not the best way to control the elevator. There is a simpler and more convenient one. Click on the winch to disassemble the elevator and change its design by adding a gizmo controller to it, which we will also glue. We will assemble it back on the ground, and now numbers will appear on the controller of the thing. These will be the floor numbers. By scrolling the wheel, you can choose which floor you need, and then right-click and you will go to this floor. Also interesting facts. When the elevator has arrived and is on the floor, the elevator connector emits a Redstone signal. When you assemble the elevator, you only need one connected elevator winch. The rest can be put for decorative purposes, and when assembling the elevator, they will also be connected to it. By the way, the information transmitter is connected to the elevator connector. It can show on a mechanical scoreboard or a gas discharge indicator what floor it is now. Also, Cray adds new pieces of armor that will allow you to get absolute protection from fire and lava damage. The first is a non-barite climbing helmet, the second is a non-barite balloon, and the third is non-barite climbing boots. To begin with, they have the same properties as their ancestral objects. You will also be able to breathe underwater, walk on the seabed and walk on a conveyor belt. But at the same time, their score is much higher, and they protect from lava only when you are wearing Zarite pants. Without them, even if you are wearing these 3 items, you will burn. By the way, the helmet improves visibility in the lava, and pay attention to this indicator here. As soon as the timer runs out, the lava will start to damage you again. Therefore, do not forget to fill the non-graphite cylinder with compressed air. And then I'll tell you about the mechanical roller, which is needed for laying blocks and creating embankments. It can be glued to any movable mechanisms, trains and trolley gizmos. At the same time, it works only in motion. Hovering over the rink, you will notice 2 buttons. The first of them allows you to change the operating mode of the rink, and the second will allow you to choose the block that will be installed from below. By the way, these blocks will be taken from the inventory, which is glued to your building, on which the skating rink. Therefore, make sure that there is at least a chest on it. And now about the operating mode of the rink. The first mode is demolition and laying. In this mode, he breaks 2 blocks in front of him, and he replaces the lower one with the one that you chose by taking it from the glued inventory. And yet, the rink does not extract valuable resources when they are destroyed or replaced from below, so in terms of resource extraction, a mining drill is better. The second mode is filling from the bottom. In this mode, the blocks will not break, but there will only be a gradual filling of blocks in a column with a maximum depth of up to 13 blocks. At the same time, he can fill cavities if he has similar blocks that he puts as an obstacle. And if the blocks are different, then there will be no filling. And the last mode is inclined filling from below. This mode also does not break blocks. The properties are exactly the same as the second one, only he puts blocks not under himself in the form of a column, but in the form of a pyramid in different directions, with a maximum depth of 13 blocks. New blocks have been added, an andesite block, an experience block and an industrial iron block. By the way, the experience unit glows very well in the dark, and blocks of industrial iron can be decorated with gutters, changing their texture. There is also a feasible step and panels. On these special blocks, you can apply the textures of any other blocks that you click on them. In addition, there is a more convenient way to apply textures to them. To do this, place the block with the texture you need in the second hand and also continue to install the filled blocks. You will notice that they are already placed with the texture. But keep in mind, the blocks that you use to apply textures will be spent. Clicking through the shift with a wrench on the filled blocks, you will break them very quickly. And if you apply the texture of a lantern or a Reston lantern to the filled blocks, then you can change the lighting mode if you click the original block. Going further, new types of doors, bars, and their own scaffolding have appeared in the creation. And if you put an envelope tape in the case and put a block over it, then props will appear under the block. By the way, this does not prevent the subjects from passing. The copper valve has also changed a little. It now has the ability to fine-tune the rotation angle with a single click on it. Further, the following three mechanisms have convenient mechanics for placing blocks, exactly the same as the sails. A little bit about winches. Now you can climb them. In addition, it is enough for you to power only one winch, and the rest installed themselves will automatically connect. Well, with the engineer's glasses, you will see the exact flow rate of the liquid in the boiler. Well, the speed of updating the text on the mechanical scoreboard is affected by the speed of rotation. And I have all my friends on this. I advise you to subscribe so as not to miss new interesting videos on Minecraft.